name's Ashley Rice and welcome to my YouTube channel. So I had a fellow YouTuber, Marta Laura Zayas, whose channel is amazing and you should definitely go check her out. She also reviews a bunch of products too. She actually requested a video where I show you how I brew my kombucha at home because I love kombucha and I was so excited to start brewing. For those of you who saw my kombucha starter kit unboxing, you'll know that I was super excited to try it all out. And I've done a few different batches now, and so I'm excited to show you how I brew it at home. First thing though, I'm not a master at brewing kombucha. I am going to be using my lovely cheat sheet throughout most of this explanation. And also, there may be a chance that I'm doing something wrong. So if you see me doing something that I shouldn't be doing when brewing kombucha, feel free, call me out, let me know, and then I will update that information in the description box below. But other than that, I just want to get started by showing you what you're going to need to brew kombucha at home. So first off, you're going to need some sort of jar to let your kombucha brew in. I got this from the kombucha shop, which is also where I got my starter kit, and this is actually the one that came in my starter kit. I eventually got another one just so it could hold all of my scobies. And this is the star of the show. These are your scobies, and you need these. You can start off without a SCOBY. It's just going to take a really long time to create that SCOBY, and it's just a lot easier if you can find one already. The starter kit that I had came with a starter culture, so we're going to use these SCOBYs and the juice that's in here. You're going to need something to measure out water because you're going to be using water. You're gonna need some different teas. So for today, I'm gonna brew 2 different batches. So one I got from the kombucha shop and I've actually really enjoyed this one, and this is the Sencha kombucha tea blend flavor, and I honestly love this flavor. So that's gonna be in one of mine. And then the other one, I thought I'd try something new, and I'm actually gonna use some Miracle Tree Moringa tea, and I'm super excited because Moringa is super healthy, kombucha is super healthy. You gotta put them together and try it. So I'm gonna try the original flavor. I have reviewed this product on one of my Moringa mornings, so if you haven't checked that out, I'll leave a link below so you can see that. You're gonna need a pot to boil some water in. You're gonna need some sugar. And then also with these bottles, you can mark down notes. So if you do that, you're gonna need some sort of erasable marker. If you are using loose leaf tea like this guy here, you're gonna need just a little tea pouch to keep stuff in because you're gonna let it boil in water for a little bit. You're also gonna need pH strips because you have to test the acidity of the kombucha just to make sure it is healthy for you. So I got these from my starter kit, which is also the kombucha shop, and it also has a little cheat sheet telling me what each color means. And then you're also gonna need something to cover up your jars once you start brewing. I got these from the kombucha shop as well. It's this guy here, and then also a rubber band to make sure it stays on. And then later on for taste testing your kombucha, you're gonna need one of these guys right here. I'm not actually sure what to call this guy. A pipette. That's what they're called. So you're gonna need one of those guys as well. So the first step you're gonna do is put 4 cups of water on your stove, and you wanna get it to a boil. Once your water has started to boil, you then are going to turn off the heat. So then once your water is off the heat, you have to get your tea ready. If you're doing loose leaf tea, you're gonna do about 3 tablespoons. If you're gonna do bagged tea, I've heard different recommended amounts. However, I'm gonna go with 4 today. Once you have your teas all ready, you're gonna go ahead and put them in the water, and you're gonna let them steep for about 5 to 7 minutes. So while my tea is steeping, I also like to fill up my jar with 8 cups of filtered cold water. After your tea is done steeping, you'll take it out. And if you're using the pouch to hold your loose leaf tea, make sure to empty that as soon as you can and then clean it. That way it'll be ready for the next time you want to use it. Once your tea is out, you're going to put a cup of sugar in there, and you're actually going to stir it until it dissolves. Once the sugar is dissolved, you're going to take it off the pot and you're going to put it into your jar. Alrighty, so this one here is the Moringa tea and this one's the Sencha tea. Once you have them all ready, the next thing we're going to do is make sure you have really clean hands. I poured mine back into a bowl just so I could get them into both containers, but you'll grab some SCOBYs. Don't they look delicious? And go ahead and carefully put them in there. This is the one that I started with. This one's probably going to be dead soon. I'm going to have to get rid of it. And then you're going to have this juice that's from your previous kombucha batches, and we're just going to, for right now, we're going to split them evenly. When I'm talking about the second fermentation, I'll talk a little bit more about this. So once you have put your SCOBYs and the juice from your previous kombucha in here, you are then going to test the pH levels. And basically you want them to read at 4.5 or lower. So that's going to be a healthy acidic level. Start with this one. This is the Moringa. So we should be good for this one. And it looks like the Sencha one is doing well too. Once you've done all of that, then you're going to cover your jars. And then with your marker, you're going to write some information on here just so you can remember which one is which. For my brew ID, I'm not really trying to keep heavy notes on my kombucha. I'm not trying to sell my kombucha, so I don't really do a lot here. So we'll just say 1 and 2. And then the brew date, that's really, really important. And today is April 10th. I'm gonna get down here really quick. Sometimes it's hard to write on these guys. And then the bottom one, which is the most important, these are honestly the ones I usually fill out, the brew date and then the TUs. So for this one, I used original Moringa. And then this one, I used the Sencha one that I got from the kombucha shop. So now they are all set to sit there and ferment. So roughly you're going to ferment them for about 7 to 9 days. I have had one batch that I've brewed longer than 9 days just because it was too sweet for me. But usually they fall into that 7 to 9 range if you already have some well-developed scobies. If you're building your SCOBY for the first time, it's going to take a lot longer. But yeah, so I'm just going to let them sit there. I'll come back and check on them on the 7th day. Hey guys, so we're back. It is Friday, April 20th. And my Sencha one is doing well. This is the 9th day that it's been brewing. And the Sencha is right where I want it to be for right now. It's not as tart as I normally like it because during the second fermentation, it is still going to get tarter. So usually you want to stop brewing the first fermentation right before it gets a little bit too tart for you, or right before it becomes the right amount of tartness for you. I have tasted it with this little guy right here and I'm liking it where it's at. So I am going to take out my scobies. I'm going to put them in a bowl, and I'm also planning on brewing really shortly after this. So because of that, I'm only going to take 1 cup of the kombucha currently brewed right now, and I'm going to put that with my scobies because you always have to set aside some of your previous batch to start another batch. So if you're going to brew right away, usually they say you can get away with only taking out a cup of the last juice that you use, so this guy right here. But if you know you're not going to get to brewing for a while, you usually want to take out 2 cups of it, just so that the scobies have something to feed off for longer than a day or 2. If you're going to brew in the next day or 2, a cup should be just fine. Before you take out your scobies, make sure you have really clean hands because you don't want anything unnecessary getting on your scobies because it could kill all the bacteria in it. Look how healthy my new SCOBY is. Doesn't he look beautiful? Okay, I have my scobies out and the 1 cup of juice from this batch so that I can use that in the next batch. So the next part that you're going to want to do is called bottling your kombucha. And I have 2 different bottles that I bottle things in. To be honest, I actually prefer this bottle. I think it just works better, and it also gives a lot more fizz than this type of bottle. I bought these off of Amazon, and this I bought off the kombucha shop, and I really do enjoy these more, so I would highly recommend if you're planning on brewing at home, this type of bottle is a lot better. So I'm going to use both types of glasses today. These guys here I'm going to add stuff to, and these ones are just going to be the plain Sencha kombucha. I actually like to have a few of my glasses just be a plain flavor. Simply because I like them plain also. But the first thing you're going to need to make this happen is you're going to need a funnel. If you can get one that has this little guy here, this little strainer, that's really helpful. That way you don't get a lot of yeast bits in your kombucha as it's transitioning over. This is not the best for these bottles either. That's another thing that I don't like. So sometimes it can be tricky. So if you see me struggling, that's why. So, okay. Okay, so I filled up my first glass. You want to try and fill it up as high as possible. No, I'm not adding anything to this bottle, so it's okay that it's this full. It helps make it fizzier quicker. Another thing is I've noticed if I fill it up to like right about here instead and I don't add anything else to this bottle, sometimes a little teeny SCOBY will start to form on the top of the kombucha. And there's nothing bad about that. It's good bacteria, but it does feel weird flying into your mouth. So I don't really like to have scobies form on here. So I generally try to fill them up pretty quick. And then once you have it all set, if you're not planning on adding any flavors, then you can just bottle it up. And then you're gonna leave it for roughly about 2 to 3 days. Reason being is because you want it to get fizzy now. And also this is the second fermentation. And you want to have it somewhere warm. So you're not going to put it right away into your fridge. You're going to do that after the second to the third day because it will continue to brew in warm conditions, but in cold conditions it will stop brewing. As you can notice, it's already a little bit fizzy. Do not shake your kombucha. But yeah, I want it to fizz up a little bit more and I want it to continue to brew. So that's why you want to stop your batch a little bit before it's at the right amount of tartness, just because in the next 2 to 3 days, it'll get even more tart. So I'm gonna set this guy aside. Let's keep filling these ones up. Guys, I totally forgot to do a step. Oops. So the thing you want to do before you start bottling your kombucha is you actually want to test the pH levels. Now, every time I've done this, it's always been at the right amount of pH levels, so I kind of have gotten out of the habit of testing it anymore just because I haven't had an issue, and maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe I should always be testing it. So before you start bottling, like I've already done the 3 of mine, you want to take one of your pH strips, and then you want to quickly dip it in, take it out, and it should be between a 2.5 and a 3.5. So that's what I got. So that's a 2.5 that I'm hovering right over. That's a 3. So I honestly think this is at a 3. So we should be fine. Sorry about that, guys. Like I said, every time I've brewed and I've checked the pH level afterwards, it's always been between that 2.5 to 3.5. So I've kind of just stopped checking, knowing that it's probably fine. You just want to check that to make sure you're not throwing too much of a high pH level into your body, because that's not good. You want a healthy amount. Anyways, there's that. I have bottled 3 of my bottles here. You can add flavors to your second fermentation. So all you do is, same step, you're going to fill this up. However, you're going to leave some space. So this is roughly what I have here. So I normally like to fill my bottles up to here if I'm not adding anything. However, since I'm adding something, I'm leaving it down here. You could probably leave it just a little bit lower. But the one thing that I love to add to my kombucha is actually raspberries. I love raspberries so much, and I love the flavor that they add to kombucha. You can look, there's tons of different recommendations of how much you should put in. I've seen anywhere from 2 teaspoons to like a cup. It just varies depending on how much of a flavor you want. I'm just gonna put a couple of raspberries in there. I'm just kind of estimating. I just want to put a good amount in. We'll call that good. And you're actually gonna let this soak for that 2 to 3 day period. It is okay that it's out in the warmth. It is not going to rot your berries at all. The kombucha is actually going to feed off the sugar in the raspberries, which is awesome. So all you do is put in what you want in there, and then you're actually gonna set it aside for those 2 to 3 days. I'm gonna do one more as raspberry. Again, you're just gonna throw some in. Okay, we'll call that good. Okay guys, so my camera cut out halfway through that. Some other flavors that I've seen in them have been like lavender, ginger. Some people do apple cider vinegar. I've seen mint. I've also seen lemons. So I added lemon juice, which if you can get real lemons to add in there, please do. I thought I had a lemon, I didn't, so I'm using lemon juice. Lemons are way better though. I added roughly, I think I had it here, and then I added the rest as lemon juice. So that's how much I added. But last thing here is I usually don't get all of the kombucha into 6 glasses, but this is not worth a 7th glass. So really what I do with the small amount that's left over is I just put it in with my scobies just to give them more things to feed off of. Okay, so next thing, once everything is bottled, starting to do the second fermentation, you are gonna take all of your scobies that you put over in a clean bowl, and you are going to now put them back into this guy here. And then same thing with the juice from your last batch. You're gonna go ahead and put that in. So you should have received a cover for this jar right here. You're gonna need that for this part. I am not gonna brew right now, so I'm actually gonna brew this tomorrow. So if you're not brewing like right away, you're gonna take this and you're gonna cover it up. I don't usually eat the raspberries that have been sitting in my kombucha though. I think it would be fine if you did. I just think it's a little weird, so I personally don't. So you're basically gonna set them aside for 2 to 3 days. During that time, it's gonna continue to brew and get a little bit more tart. It's gonna infuse whatever flavors you've added, and then it's also going to get fizzy. So this is usually the main thing that you're checking to see if it's fizzy enough. So usually on the 3rd day, for me, it has been fizzy enough. And once it is, you can just move it over into your refrigerator and then it'll stop brewing. So yeah, I am probably gonna wait a few more days for this moringa. It's still actually pretty sweet. So I'll probably come back and check in with you guys once I have all of those bottled up, just to show you what I did with that and to finish up my thoughts on this video. So I will see you then. Okay everyone, I'm back. Today is April 23rd. It's a Monday. And my original moringa flavoring is finally at the point that I want it to be for the first fermentation. Now, I'm not going to do the second fermentation for you. Instead, I'm going to talk about a different way that you can also do it if you're not wanting to add flavors right away. And then after I finish up this video, I'm going to go ahead and bottle up my kombucha and get that all ready. As you can see, I've already started brewing another one. This one is raspberry flavored. So basically, I already showed you how to do the second fermentation one way, where you bottle it up and maybe you add some flavor if you want to infuse that into your kombucha. But another way that you could do it, you take this jar right here, you take out all of your scobies. If you have another one of these that is empty, you might want to put all of your scobies into that, and then you would add again the 1 cup of fluids from this batch if you were going to brew shortly after that, or you add 2 cups if it's going to be quite a few days before you can get to brewing your next batch. What you would then do is just actually keep it all in here and let the second fermentation happen to all of it. This is if you're not planning on infusing it with any fruit during the second fermentation. And I found out, I'm actually going to make a correction. The second fermentation, a lot of people have been saying, could take anywhere from like 2 to 14 days. It really depends on how fizzy you want it to be. Also, if you have too much buildup happening, you might end that sooner than later, and so on. So the second fermentation for me usually only takes 2 to 3 days, but for other people it can take longer. And then all you do is, instead of putting this cloth and rubber band back over it, you're going to take the cap to your jar and you're going to screw that on top so that it can build up some fizz to it. And then once you feel like it's at the right amount, then you would bottle it up. And if you were planning on drinking it right away, you can also add the flavor in then. Basically what I would do is pour out a glass of it and then stick some raspberries in there and just enjoy it as it is. So you can also add flavor that way as well. I prefer to do it where you add in the fruit while it is bottling to brew, but sometimes if I really like the original flavor of whatever type of kombucha that I am brewing, I will do the technique where I keep it in the jar and then I just bottle up all the original flavors. So that's basically everything for what I do for brewing my own kombucha at home. Now again, I am still pretty new to this. If you're looking to start up brewing, I would highly recommend finding a brewing kit. If you are looking for a really great one that I've really enjoyed, you can look at this eye right up here in the corner. This will show you my unboxing video of the starter kit that I got and I really have been loving. Definitely check out that video and see if that's something you might want to do as well. I would also say start reading a lot of articles on brewing, because I know the first time I was brewing, a lot of weird and strange things were happening and I was like, oh no, do I have mold in my kombucha? Which is like nearly impossible, so you probably don't. But there's articles that address that, what looks like mold, what doesn't. And I didn't really understand if my SCOBY was forming right. I just had all these questions the first time I was brewing my kombucha, and even into the first like 4 batches I ever made, I had a lot of questions. So definitely get on the online community of kombucha brewers and just like ask questions and research away. Like, you can learn so much. And a lot of people have a lot of different preferences. I think that's what I really like about brewing kombucha, is I can make it how I want to make it. So if you want to brew kombucha, can make it however you want to make it. You can make it sweeter, you can make it tartar, whatever you're looking for. I know there's even some people who really don't even do the second fermentation because they want to keep it right where it is and they don't care to add fizz. So like, really, you can build this to be whatever you need it to be. Thank you again, Marta, for requesting this video. I hope this turned out well and that you guys really liked liked it. Let me know if you have any questions of things that I have come up against as I have been brewing my kombucha. Again, I'm still fairly new, so I won't know everything, but I can tell you what my experience has been or some of the research that I've discovered on my own. And if you're curious what Moringa kombucha tastes like, I would recommend either trying it at home. In fact, I will leave a link below to the ones that I used, and that link will also show you how you can get a coupon off a purchase from the company. Either that or hang around for my next Moringa morning. I'm planning on talking a little bit about that and trying the Moringa kombucha on there as well. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. Other than that, I hope you guys really liked this video. Again, let me know if there are any questions you have. Make sure to check out Marta's channel. She is so sweet and loving, and I just love her channel so much. So go ahead and check that out. There is a link in the description box below, so feel free to go click on that after this video. Other than that, if you are new to my channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!